welcome back, everybody, to welcome to all our listeners, all millions of you out there far and wide. Today we got a big one. We got a big one today. We got Archie. Archie, say hello.
What's up? Hola.
For some reason, we also have Seattle and Dylan in the Discord. I think they want to. I don't know. I don't know why they're here, but they may or may not hear them pop in here or there. Probably not, though. There's one of them. I don't know which, and there's the other. So just real quick, Archie is an avid listener, so I don't have to go over this with him. But for those of you maybe popping in for the first time this week, this is show three of four this week. Still coughing. You'll hear that little song about to cry in my voice. Still coughing, so I got my 2 cough drops ready. A little bit better than yesterday, which is better than Monday. So hopefully it doesn't happen. Will, my child, had a little rough time going down, so he might wake up. We'll see. If that happens, we got enough people in the Discord they can take over for me while I have to deal with that. All right, so let's get right into this. This is honestly an easy first part. Usually we talk about pre-draft trades. You talk about the draft. You didn't make any pre-draft trades, and you had no picks. So this is nice and easy. We had no picks here.
Yeah, I think going into Dynasty, I was pretty much going to adopt the Ram strategy of, like those picks. So I feel like it's worked out.
Yeah, clearly it has 2-time winner, like 1-time runner-up. I don't think you've ever missed the playoffs. So obviously it's working. So yeah, I don't know if you've ever had a rookie pick, actually. I
have not.
I don't think you ever have. You do have some picks though this year, or no, next year you have picks. So maybe
the last time I picked a rookie, I think, was in the redraft with Jamar.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
but honestly, it's worked. So obviously it's worked. So you're doing something right. You did make one trade this season though. You made one trade. You made I believe this was was it preseason? Oh yeah, okay. So around the draft, you had you dealt Zach Ertz and a 2027 second for Justin Fields, which at the time, Fields was the only quarterback in New York. So definitely see the idea here, and obviously Ertz was coming off a good year, but got hurt, and the second round pick is honestly whatever. So your thought process when you made this deal?
Yeah, well, in Dynasty, something really important to pay attention to is just like the age of skill players. And so Ertz is someone that, I'd gotten really lucky with trading for Trey McBride. And, I just felt good about, where I was at for tight end for the long term. So I was like, man, if I could flip Ertz for somebody that could fill a position of need at QB, it was like a win,
Absolutely.
And I just feel confident in my ability still to like pick up guys in the margin, without the draft. So yeah, the second round pick didn't really mean that far out. So, but yeah, I thought, the beginning of the season, Fields had like a pretty good go of it, and then it kicked in. He's with the Jets. So I don't know. Hopefully he can be one of those reclamation projects, but this would have been this will be his 4th team coming up. So just didn't work out.
Yeah, and again, I don't like you said, it really wasn't that big of a price to pay for the upside of a guy like Fields, who hasn't been a great passer throughout his career, but he's been a very, very good running quarterback. So.
AFC quarterback, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So upside was there, and honestly, it was pretty much a nothing burger here. But you did. At this point, I don't even know who your quarterbacks were. I think you still had. Well, obviously, you had Darnold. And I think it was a little still unknown with him. Like, we didn't know if he was going to go to Seattle and produce. Obviously, he did. We'll talk about him in a second. But yeah, I think it's kind of a whatever deal. And Fields still has a chance to get playing time somewhere. So, so yeah. All right, for this season, you finished in with a record of 10-4, top of the goods division. You finished second in points for, about 50 points behind Yurden, and you finished, 8th in points allowed. which middle of the pack, not too far behind Seattle, who was in seventh. So you didn't get too unlucky, but also your luck was pretty middle of the table. So wasn't a fluky 10-4, I wouldn't say, especially with that second points for. All right, so now that stuff's out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with the.
Also, shout out to Trev. Man, like I always say, like with fantasy, it's about like your team getting hot at the right time, and I was a little scared because he scored like 180, I think, against Dylan the week before when I had the bye, and I was like, okay, typically you don't get that kind of output back to back weeks, and I feel like I had a strong showing, but he dropped like 180 something on me, so. I was hoping he could just take it, because it's always nice to say you lost to the champion, but shout out to him, man. Yeah, that was an insane run that he had.
188 in round one after Dylan put up 155 with the Kyle Pitts, was a 50-yard or 50-point game, and then 187 in the semis, and then put up 110 in the final. That's just how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
All right.
Would have won too if not for Brock Purdy dying.
What was that?
He would have won too if not for Brock Purdy dying in the championship.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Oh, wait. Okay, whatever. Anyways. Moving on. Trev will be happy to hear the props, I'm sure. Although he's not hesitant to give those to himself. So, let's get started. Starting off with quarterbacks. Oh, there he is in the chat. Trev is happy. He's listening. Sam Darnold. I have him in starter tier. I think he's kind of proved it this year. He deserves to be in this tier. He deserves to have his plaudits after a rough start to his career, but back-to-back years where he was very good. Obviously, he developed a very strong connection with JSN. I think he's going forward. I think he's fine to starter to have. Any thoughts on Sam Darnold for you?
Well, I think the only thing that makes me nervous is losing Kubiak as the OC.
That's true.
And this will be Darnold's third different offensive coordinator. I guess fifth different actually. So it's like it's a lot of different systems to have, and the hope is, the current guy came from San Francisco, so it's still kind of the similar offense that he's used to. So it's tough, and Seattle's going to be facing a tougher schedule, and so he's who I'm rocking with right now.
Yeah.
Because when we first did the initial draft, I kind of was like, I could probably make shift at QB, and so I took a huge flyer into Deshaun. He hadn't played. Right. He hadn't played yet from getting suspended, so I was kind of grabbed him late. That didn't work out, and so again, I got lucky picking up Darnold when he signed for Minnesota, and so thankfully I have him.
Yeah, that was a very, very good pickup, because if you didn't have him this year, it would have been rough. I know Mac Jones made a couple of starts, but yeah. So then we have down here. We'll go down here to the who knows. Justin Fields, I have him. Who knows? He's supposed to be getting paid $20 million from the Jets this year, but he's probably going to get cut. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. They just signed or just traded for or signed. Or, I don't know if they signed. I can't remember if they signed or traded for Geno Smith. Or I think they did trade for him. So they have Geno Smith there now. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens with him. I don't think he's necessarily done in the NFL, and I don't think he even played that poorly. But they were just losing games, so they had to kind of try something new.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The cough drop is not doing its job. All right. Mac Jones again. He's really dependent on injury. He has to have Brock Purdy go down if he wants to play again, and he looked pretty good
when he played.
When he did play, so I'm kind of thinking maybe if a quarterback goes down and they don't trust another team doesn't trust a backup, might go in for a trade here, or they might just go in for a trade. Someone might go in for a trade just because they don't like what they have as is. So you can see that happening. If that happens, then I think he definitely moves up here. Both of these guys.
Yeah, I kind of picked him up just, knowing that, there's a lot of funky injury stuff that happens in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And so I figured he would either have a chance to play, I just feel like he would have a strong chance to be able to play games. And, with the showing that he had last year, I wondered if a team might trade for him. So I was really hoping Minnesota might, try to get him. But we'll
Maybe.
see.
I think he'd be better than J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
I,
Well, they just got Kyler, right? So,
yeah, I don't. Is that
we'll
confirmed
see what
yet?
happens there.
I know that's been in the works. I definitely think it's going to happen if it hasn't already. But by the way, I don't know. You're on Discord. I don't know if you can see my screen. Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So make sure. All right. So moving up to these two here, we have two young quarterbacks that aren't starting yet. Dylan Gabriel did have some time starting last year, but it seems like they liked what they saw at Shedeur more. And again, I don't think he played poorly, but he's there as development. He already is 25, which is pretty old for a rookie quarterback. But it's too early to give up on him, I think, because we only saw half a season out of Shedeur too, and he threw a lot of picks. He was kind of inaccurate, so we'll see what they do with that. But he's one to watch for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have Riley Leonard, who we'll see. I want to hear your thoughts on what you think Riley Leonard's up to. What do you think he's going to get up to in the future?
Well, Daniel Jones tore his Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hadn't checked the updates. I know the Colts were still. I think he was wanting $50 million or something like that, and so the Colts are like, I don't know if they want to give him $50 million off a torn Achilles. Again, I doubt he'll be with the torn Achilles. He tore it at like the end of the year. Typically, that can normally take like a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I wondered, maybe if he doesn't come back, Shane Steichen is just a good, one of those kind of good offensive minds. Another year under him, development of the offseason. Maybe he comes out, plays well. He had some little mentorship from Phillip Rivers. Maybe there's a QB controversy in Indy. Who knows? So kind of just like I guess somewhat of a sleeper.
Yeah.
Because I think he went to Notre Dame, right?
Mm-hmm. He did.
So I don't know. I kind of just somewhat of a hometown hero to some extent.
Yeah.
So I just think he could potentially do something in Indy. We'll see.
Yeah, I think he's worth a worth a stash. They did sign Daniel Jones today, 2 years, $88 million. So they gave him a bunch of money. But again, like you said, the Achilles is tough to come back from. One, and two, it's
he's pretty mobile too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a long injury to come back from. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. I think he's definitely worth a hold. He's in the development tier. So yeah.
Yeah. And I'm the team that, because I'm so, I'm not deep at quarterback. I can, try different stuff out and see what happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully Trumbull doesn't get hurt though. Yeah.
Yeah. Yurden in the chat said Leonard's butt, so he is not a huge Riley Leonard fan. Not surprising. He's a Jonathan Taylor owner, so he probably wants. Well, honestly, Leonard playing would be good for Jonathan Taylor. But all right, moving on to running backs, you've got a very small running back group here, but you got five good ones, I'll say. Start at the top with James Cook. Easy plug and play. RB1, he's going to get a ton of touches. They've really committed to the run. He's gotten a ton of carries, 300 carries last year. Gets all the goal line work. They don't really have a backup. So he's, Ray Davis, but it's the James Cook show. So he's perfect starter to have, perfect guy to have at the top of your running back lineup. I'm sure you're happy to have him.
Yeah, I gave up a lot for him. So
yeah.
I kind of, part of the F the picks thing is he was like, I try to look at it like cumulatively, like what have I given out, like what have I gotten. So I did really good business getting Nico and getting Trey. So and even just I picked up Rico off of waivers and Alec Pierce, as a free agent. So it's like I kind of view that all as together. So really happy with James Cook, and I think my philosophy too with fantasy. for running backs is like ideally I'd love to have a guy who can be elusive, who's not like a bruiser kind of running back, because those guys typically get hurt. And again, like it was all just based off of like in the redrafts, in other leagues, I've always leaned on early, Alvin Kamara, so that kind of, prototype as a running back. And so that kind of is what made Cook stand out to me.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's been very good for you. Definitely worth the. I think worth. Excuse me. It was really 3 firsts, which is hold on. Excuse me. Which is a lot, but he did win you a championship, so you gotta say it's worth it, in my opinion. And any trade that you've made up to this point is worth it because you won, in my opinion. Moving on to Dowdell, I had him in backup originally, but I think he's going to be good in Pittsburgh. I think that was a great move for him. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, both of which I believe he started the year as the backup. So I think he's got plenty of upside. I think the Steelers' offense is probably going to be run heavy, and I know it's different, but a different offense, but they have a decent offensive line. They kind of always have a 1,000-yard rusher. I feel like Kenneth Gainwell went off last year. Jalen Warren went off last year. Why can't Dowdell go off this year? So I moved him up to starter. I think he's having a good year for you. So I'm curious to your thoughts. I'm assuming they're probably similar, but
yeah. So Rico was a guy that I was really happy to get because I'm unfortunately a Cowboy fan. So I when the Cowboys lost Pollard, I kind of saw, I was like, okay, wow, he could probably win the running back competition. So I was just happy to just pick him up, and I was super surprised. I was really bummed when the Cowboys didn't resign him, and then he went to Carolina. But he was a really, really happy surprise with how he
he's awesome
flourished
last year.
there. Just hoping he can continue that. And with running backs, it's tough because it's like a position that doesn't have a super long shelf life. And so that's typically why, again, I prefer the guys who are kind of elusive and, pass catching because, they can last longer. I'm not sure, again, how much longer of a run he'll have, but definitely happy to have him right now.
Yeah, I think he's got. I mean, at least a year. Probably, I would say 2. I mean, because he didn't really have a lot of touches early in his career.
That's true.
He's got more shelf life. He's 27, but I mean, he's got. If you're looking at the carries he's had over his career, he's not had 20 or 6 seasons.
His running back age isn't as
right
as old.
Right. So I like that. I'll go into this year. Pollard is someone who I'm interested in. Interested to see what he does this year. Because he might not even be a Titan, and if that happens, then it's a reevaluation. I think he would. I don't know. I don't know what I want for him, honestly, because I like him as a player. I think he's just consistent. 1,000 yards each of the last 4 years. I think the Titans are a young team, but I think he's a guy that you keep around, and then maybe draft another guy just to understudy and then take over eventually. But I think his time might be getting there. He didn't look great for a lot of the year. He had a really strong finish, but it was a really bad offense, so it's hard to tell. I like Pollard this year. I have him as a backup, but easily could end up in that wide receiver running back 1/2 category. But your thoughts on Pollard?
Yeah. Again, he was just a guy that he was a Cowboy, so I was really happy to get him when I did. Again, it was bummed when he went to Tennessee, but good on him for getting the bag. I was curious to see like what would happen with him this offseason. As of now, they've kept him, but again, you're gonna have to evaluate things in the draft. I think that's I think at least for fantasy purposes, you kind of have to like view things. Okay, post free agency, look at where things stand. Then okay, post draft, where do things stand? And then personally, for me, I try not to do like a ton of trades before training camp and preseason because guys can get hurt.
Yeah, definitely.
So kind of just look at things like post that, right? So it's like, oh wow, in preseason McCarthy gets hurt. Okay, Darnold's could be a good guy to get. So it's like I kind of just try to really be a hawk during that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see where he could end up. So
very true. This is kind of he's dependent on what happens with his production for sure. Or sorry, with his situation. Moving on to a guy we already know kind of what's going to happen with Kamara.
Yeah.
Don't know if he's even going to stick around in New Orleans with ETN moving there. We'll see. And he's getting older. I don't know. We'll see about Kamara.
Yeah.
I think he's still a good player. Did get injured last year, but we'll see, man. I don't know. I think his time might be coming to an end as well, definitely in New Orleans, I think, but maybe even in the NFL. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Curious to hear your
this
thoughts.
This is the one player that like I probably have the strongest emotional attachment to because of the 6 touchdown game.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And so
remember that.
And so he's a guy like I know. Yeah, he's a guy that's like, in investing, they call it like the endowment effect. Like when you like own something yourself, you like attach a ton of value to it. And so you probably should have the kind of Belichickian approach of like, trading a guy like a year before. And so I probably should have looked at stuff, but I was like, I don't know, like I just have that. I'll always remember that game, and just I think he's like in all the years I've done fantasy with you guys, I think I've always had Kamara on my team.
So
yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, so he's just again, my fear is like I think if he gets cut, he could just retire because he could just be want to only be a Saint. But yeah, we'll see. I think there's probably some contending teams that could use his services, and so if he still wants to view it as a chance to compete, I think he still has some left in the tank. So hopefully, he can either find a way to coexist. Probably not, but he can either find a good home, but hopefully he doesn't retire.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I know he said that originally, but we'll see. There's still some time. Then James Conner, another guy, kind of in a crowded backfield now. They went out and got Tyler Algier. They re-signed Bam Knight. They have Trey Benson there still, and he had that rough ankle injury. So we'll see. He's been very good for you, very productive, especially in the touchdown department. But we'll see. He's another one that he's 30. He's getting up there. So we'll see what happens with him. I think it's too early to say he's cooked or washed, just because we haven't seen him and what the new offense is going to do. But if it's by week 4 or 5 and he's had like 2 or 3 carries a game, then it might be time to call it for James Conner.
Yeah, but he's a fighter. He's beat cancer 3 times, something like that. And I think he's also one of my like OG draft picks too.
Probably it was. Yeah,
like I actually was like close to trading him like early in the season for I'm blanking on his name. The running back for Chicago right now.
Swift,
yeah, you ended up getting him.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I was really close to doing that actually, but couldn't agree to terms with Tim. But
Tim's a hard guy to deal with.
Yeah, but that is true.
He doesn't listen. You can say whatever you
want. But man, yeah, that would have been kind of nice to do in hindsight. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Actually, was kind of surprised that he ended up re-signing there.
Yeah,
I figured he would have. They would just let him go and kind of figure out what would happen next for them. So we'll see. Clearly, they don't trust in Benson yet to take it over. So
no, they do not.
See.
Nice. All right, moving on to receivers. We'll start here at the bottom. Get these guys out of the way. I don't see Allen Lazard ever contributing again. Neither Tyler Lockett or Westbrook Akina. They're all getting older. None of them really did much last year. Guys to fill out the roster, but guys you're probably never going
Yeah.
to start, especially with what you have up here. So
Yeah.
you don't have any picks, but like if there's rookie like undrafted free agents or something like that,
Yeah.
these are the first guys off the board, in my opinion.
Yeah. Lazard just a bummer because I remember when I first drafted him, that was after, I believe, that year, that was when the Packers traded Devontae. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, this could be wide receiver one and in Green Bay coming off of like an Aaron Rodgers MVP season. So like he just kind of underwhelmed that year
Yeah.
and just really hasn't done anything at all since. Um, so yeah, definitely you're right. Those guys are on the chopping block
Yeah.
for sure.
But moving up to the top,
Really
I have no notes for Jamar Chase. He's always going to be, top 5 fantasy asset. Always going to get the ball. Joe Burrow loves him. He's really no notes for him. Nico Collins, the only thing I have for him is that he's just got to stay healthy. It seems like every year he's getting hurt. And they're not always like long-term injuries.
Yeah,
but it's just like,
little next that.
are we waiting for the big one? But, excuse me. Shit. But when he is on the field, he's awesome. CJ Stroud loves him, and there's not really much else there to throw to for him.
With the down CJ Stroud, that's what I'm still happy about. Is like he could do a lot more. So yeah, he's again he's a guy that I'd kind of like circled. I think I traded for him like right before his like blow up year. So that was like another pick I'm like super again.
It's huge.
Got really lucky with not a pick but just trade that did.
You traded a 2024 third and a 2025 second, and I could figure out what those picks are, but actually I think I already did. I did somewhere. Hang on, let's see if I can find it real quick. 2023, so that was year 1.
Yeah, that's just the crazy thing about fantasy football is like, a guy you never know which guy could take off.
Yep. Okay, maybe it's here, season 2. One more second, then I'm giving up. Okay, here it is.
Yeah.
You traded. It ended up being Ray Davis and Harold Fannin for Nico Collins, which Harold Fannon's good, but he's no Nico Collins.
Yeah.
So that's a steal. That's a steal. That's crazy. But again, this was after this 2022 season, so like that's at the time I'm like, that's a overpay for Nico Collins. But yeah, you saw the future. Props to you for sure.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things too. It's like I'm sure everyone will like just. I try to look at like okay, who's the quarterback, of course. And I've been reading a ton of stuff about CJ Stroud looking good in preseason and then in training camp. It's like, oh wow, he could take it, and looks like he's been liking Collins. It's like, okay, this could be a great move, and yeah, it worked out.
Definitely did. And then AJ Brown, another one who's got some uncertainty around him. Where is he going to go? Mm-hmm. Is he going to stay in Philly? I don't know. I think he's going to stay in Philly. I know it might be a hot take. Trev's thinking he's out. We talked about that on Monday. I just don't know if anyone's going to pay what the Eagles want. So I don't know. We'll see. I think he would benefit from a move because I think the mood is kind of soured there. He's, like I said, a little bit of a diva. I think he would absolutely benefit from a move. And they don't really throw the ball that much.
Yeah.
But he still produces. So I think he's still a starter no matter where he is. I think you still start him week in, week out. Here's another one you picked. So your team is still a lot of like the same guys you drafted, which is kind of unusual at this point, honestly. But yeah, AJ Brown, solid starter for sure.
That's funny. Going into this year, I was like pretty sure like I'm probably going to have a Patriots wide receiver. I thought it would either be him or Pierce that might end up on the pass, or like a Jennings.
He's still free
so we'll
agent,
see.
so.
Yeah, we'll see where that falls because he's Jennings is a good deep threat, but with AJ too, I think I saw he gave like he was on like a podcast and with like Gronk and Edelman, and he like did like a wink. It was like, oh, okay, so he's probably going to the Pats. Of course, there's the connection with Vrabel. But yeah, I mean, I think just for the Pats, I think the DJ Moore deal, that could be they're probably looking at that, and they're probably maybe overvaluing
Yeah,
AJ because of that.
I think so too. I think he would definitely make that team better. But I don't know if they're going to give up what the Eagles are probably going to want.
Yeah.
But also, AJ Brown might just not want to be there anymore, and that definitely is that's taken into account for sure. So
yeah, I cannot tell you how many times I've cursed at Jalen Hurts.
oh yeah.
He's from a fan. If you have a receiver of his, he's a very frustrating quarterback to watch. And again, apparently, word on the street is he's not loved in the locker room. So it's like apparently, again, just hearsay, but like a lot of in the locker room, they kind of view AJ as a guy who's like speaking the truth. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's interesting because that's kind of like the organization has to decide if they're going to back the quarterback or they're going to back the receiver, and I bet they probably go back Hurts, but it could be the detriment of the team. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, moving on to the
fantasy quarterback though.
Yeah, oh yeah, God, if you have him as a fantasy quarterback, you're loving it. All those rushing touchdowns. Moving on to Alec Pierce, the man that made the money this offseason. I have mixed feelings on Alec Pierce. I don't think he's worth what they paid him. Not even close. Just because we've only really seen a small sample size out of him. He's caught a lot of deep balls in his career. I know the advanced metrics are good on him, but I don't know if you want to pay this guy that much money. But for fantasy purposes, I think he's a fantastic guy to have. He's a good backup. He's probably going to be, he is going to be the number one guy there. So no matter who's throwing to him, he's going to get touches. So I think he's borderline starter. Yeah, borderline starter. I need to see a little bit more before I personally have him in that category. But good player to have for sure.
Yeah. Again, just I've gotten lucky kind of in the margins, making it work, and so
picked him up off waivers.
Yeah. So I was actually hoping he might end up somewhere else, either in New England or in I think San Francisco. Offered him like 150, something like that.
Jesus.
Allegedly. So I mean, but he's back in Indy. So I mean, my thought was like, no matter what, he's probably going to, because of the new contract, be justified in getting a lot more contracts, a lot more targets. So I just really wanted him to, wherever he went, I want him to be a wide receiver one. And so I kind of view him as like a solid flex play because I have a solid kind of, 3 horsemen at receiver.
Sure.
Potentially, maybe he replaces AJ or, one of the guys. Either way, but I kind of like where I'm at the top of it. And so he kind of fills it in somewhat nicely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And then behind him, I think you have some really good depth. I think Jacoby Myers is like the ideal depth guy to have in fantasy.
You think he's wide receiver one at Jax?
I think.
Of the year?
I don't know because I think Brian Thomas is gonna have a bounce back, but this guy.
Are they trying to trade him there?
I don't know. I've seen mixed. I've seen mixed things on that. I see some people saying yes. And then I see the same other people like, that's all just smoke. Like it's not actually gonna happen. Either way, though, I think he's definitely locked in for that number 2 role. And I don't know how much they're gonna run the ball this year, just because I have Tootin, but I mean, he's not the bell cow you might want. But Myers is pretty much locked in for 8 to 12 points a game, pretty much guaranteed, which is what you want. Yeah,
he's been a solid, just like flex player for
me.
For
exactly.
Years,
so when one of these guys was on bye, perfect depth guy to have. I also think that's what Jalen Coker is going to come out to be. I know they just signed, or no, they didn't sign somebody, but they are projected to. I think they're going to take a receiver in the draft. But I think they really like this guy, and I also really like this guy. Yeah. But I think with him and McMillan, I think that's a good 1-2 punch. But he's I don't know because we don't know what they're going to do in the draft.
Yeah,
Basically,
he had a
that's where I stand with
fantastic
that.
showing against the Rams. So
Oh yeah,
hoping
he
he can
did.
kind of take that momentum. Just 'cause he's a big guy, and
Hmm.
um, so yeah, I saw Steve Smith actually before the draft, or maybe after the draft, but well, he was undrafted actually, but yeah, he I think actually it was before the draft, but he said like Coker was the guy that he sees being like the steal, and so um, yeah, that kind of like really had I had my eyes on them and was hoping that no one would draft him so I could just pick him up.
Yeah, he went undrafted in the league. Yeah, I like him. I think he's a good player, but well, it all depends on what they do.
Yeah, hopefully he can stay healthy. He
Yes,
wasn't
that
healthy
too.
last
He
year
was
too.
not. He got hurt, I think, in training camp or preseason,
Mhm.
something like that. All right, Juwan Jennings is tough to talk about just because we don't know where he's going to be. But he is a
Yeah.
good player, and I think he's going to get more money than he deserves as well.
Hmm.
But he'll be a good solid flex. I think no matter where he goes. I think they'll whoever signs him is signing him to be
Yeah.
either the guy or competing to be the guy. So solid flex, but again, it's hard to know because we don't know where he's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's kind of a guy too where it's like um I think he and Pierce can kind of play similar roles, just as like deep threats, but he'd be a lot more of a cheaper option.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's a big culture guy and brings a lot of energy and fire. So he may end up back in San Fran potentially. I don't know, but yeah, I'm hoping that he ends up in like a good offensive system.
Yeah.
Just a good quarterback, of course.
Yeah, I honestly, I haven't really looked into too much about where people think he's going. He's, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, he's going to get money, so
Hmm.
I'm sure he's just going to go to the highest bidder. But who knows who that will be?
Yeah.
All right, then you have Ty Felton, who didn't do much this year, but was a rookie.
Hmm.
But could be room for him now that they got rid of Jalen Naylor. So we'll see. They still have Addison Jefferson,
Hmm.
of course, but they need someone else to catch footballs. So we'll see what they do
Hmm.
with him. Definitely got some upside, I think, especially with Naylor being gone. But I don't know your thoughts on him. So you got him for $25 so that's not bad.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of just a guy that you hear good things about, and put a flyer on him. And again, for me, I kind of just have to make a lot of work happen in the margins with free agents and undrafted guys. So yeah, hoping he can make some moves, but it's Minnesota's past couple years has been weird. So again, I think Kyler's definitely an upgrade. Um, but yeah, we'll still see just what happens with Minnesota. So
Yeah, for
who
sure.
knows?
And
At QB.
lastly we have Calvin Austin, who don't know where he's going to be either. So
Yeah.
tough to pin what he's going to do, but probably someone who's teetering if there's a rookie you like, maybe you replace him
Hmm.
with that, or replace Austin with that. But
Yeah.
again, who knows where he's going to be? So tough to tell with him. And then lastly, tight ends. You got one of the top two in the league, Trey McBride. Um, I think he'll be just fine. Although new offense, new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, because I don't think Brissett's coming back. So we'll see with him.
Well,
But
I think they did. I think they are bringing him back, Brissett.
oh, are they? I thought they were gonna deal him because they ended up signing Minshew. But either way, I think new
I hope.
offense. We'll see what
I hope they keep
happens.
Brissett. I thought I saw that they.
Because Brissett loved him. I mean, he threw a ton of balls to him. So yeah,
Yeah.
having him Brissett would be awesome. But I think McBride will get his touches. He kind of overcame that whole he's good, but he doesn't score touchdowns this year when he scored
Hmm.
11. So
Yeah.
he'll be just fine. I think no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. He probably that was probably a peak year. I don't know. That's a hard year to
Definitely.
um, double down or improve on. So, but yeah, again, uh, I always feel good if I have like a a tight end that can, that has a solid base and of course that can explode for like 40 something. Whether it's guys like a Mark Andrews or I had him early, I think in the redrafts, and Hawkinson was, great when he was playing and healthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super super excited for Trey. What did I get him for?
David Montgomery and Elijah Mitchell, which that's another one. That's got to be one of the steals of the league in league history, because it was during his breakout year in 2023. So that's that's crazy. I don't know how Nate feels about that. Maybe we'll have to ask him when he comes on. But man, that's tough.
Yeah. I mean, but he's got Laporta, right? So I mean, he still has a really solid tight end. So at least it makes up for it a little bit.
A little bit.
I think this is just definitely there are so many just elite tight ends out there, and so I think definitely there's like a tier of like guys probably that are above, because to me what I love about Trey is I feel like he just gives me wide receiver one production. So
absolutely,
he definitely makes it to where I don't need a guy that needs to score like 20 at QB, because it's like that 5, I feel like I can just get that from Trey. When like most tight ends maybe score like 12, he can get me like 17. So it's kind of my calculus.
Easy plug and play. You do still have Hawkinson, who has battled injuries, battled weird QB situations.
Yeah.
He's still a good player, but could be coming towards the end of his viability. But I have him here in backup because I think he's still good. And with the uncertainty at quarterback, which will probably be solved with Kyler Murray, or it already is, whichever one. I think he's due for an uptick in production. So I think he's fine there in backup tier. But you got McBride, so you don't really need to worry too much about backup. Excuse me. All right, moving on to a guy I like this year is Greg Dulcich, who I had a while ago. I think I ended up dropping him.
Yeah. When I was, again, I've been in a QB pinch for a while, and so I think it was I traded you Kirk for Dulcich and Russ.
Yeah.
And that was like Russ's first year in Denver, which was like horrible.
Oh yeah, it was not good.
Or no, yeah, was it? Actually, no.
23, so I think he was in Denver. Yeah.
Yeah, his first year. So yeah, just that didn't work out. But he's just a guy that he showed so much promise in his early years. I was like, this guy's talented. Hopefully he can land on his feet somewhere. So I think he could be the starter in Miami unless they draft somebody. So
I really think he is. There's no one else here that screams like he's gonna get beat out for this job. The free agent tight end market is still some guys there. Like Njoku's still there, so we could see him go to Miami. If that happens, then that changes things. But as of now, I mean, he could be the starter there. They re-signed him. They liked what he did towards the end of the year, so he's one to watch. I think. I think he could be in for a decent year. And these other two, Noah Gray, obviously Kelsey re-signed, and even if he didn't, I don't know that Noah Gray is the answer for the Chiefs at tight end.
My hope was like, I really hope Kelsey would just retire, and like they just would like, all right, let's run with Gray and see what what that's like, and because so yeah, I mean, you never want to hope a guy gets hurt, but let's say Kelsey, I don't know, Taylor Swift goes on tour and he needs to miss some games.
Yeah,
Gray,
he'll be okay.
Turns up, yeah,
we'll see if he gets hurt. So yeah, Noah Gray, and then lastly you've got Mike Gesicki, who is, we'll see. I don't know. He's had good years. Yeah, he's just old. I don't know if they've done anything. I don't think they've signed any tight ends, the Bengals, but
yeah, I think the Bengals like him, which to me he's kind of like my new Zach Ertz. So
yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, we'll see what I do with him.
Yeah, I think he's fine depth, but someone that's we'll see. He I know he got injured, so we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, that's the team. Obviously very solid. Made the playoffs last year. I think, like I said, never missed the playoffs. Um, very good. This is pretty much very similar to the team he drafted uh, back in 2020. Oh my God, was that 2022 already? That's crazy. All right, your picks. You have none in 26. You do have a 2027 third, and somehow you have all of your 2028 picks. I couldn't believe that when I saw that. I thought for sure those had been traded. So people are going to keep their
I
lines
couldn't
open.
have traded them until this year.
Yeah,
this new year. So we'll see. We'll see what I do. We'll see what I do.
I'm sure those picks will be gone in a few months. But by August, you'll have no picks, which is it's worked. So you can't fault it. So this is kind of like what I've got here. Sam Darnold's fine. We've already talked about all these guys. Like, you have a very solid starting lineup, but you also have the depth here, which depth in running back is tough to find. Well, again, we'll see what these guys do. I think one of them will still be able to be a backup to fill in for bye weeks and stuff. So I think you've got a good squad here again. This backup quarterback could be dicey, but we'll see what happens with Justin Fields. He easily, or Mac Jones, one of these two guys easily could fill that backup role for you.
Yeah.
And backup quarterback's not all that necessary, but yeah, I think you've got a good squad, obviously. So it's looking good. And final thoughts on your team as a whole? Any potential trades you're going to make before the draft? I know you said you're not liable to make trades prior to close to the season, but any rookies caught your eye? Anyone in the draft that you're thinking you might want to go after? You don't have to say, but specifically.
Yeah, well, again, for me, since my strategy is like I kind of have to go on the margins. I can't disclose who our scouting department is looking at. But yeah, we definitely have our eyes on some guys. I think definitely for me, I'd like to go into the season with a little more certainty at backup quarterback, because again, an injury, there's a 100% injury rate in the NFL, and then definitely running back. I'd like to shore that up. And again, Dolchich could be the guy, or Hawk could come back, but I would also like to just shore up the tight end depth, just because the scoring in our league is like advantageous for tight ends. So I think if you can have a guy that they don't need to do that much to at least get 10 points. So so yeah, hopefully and again, dream too is is like a guy like Coker, or if he could ascend, we'll see, but that'd be awesome if like I can kind of go in and really have a ton of clarity on who the starters are.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we'll round it off today with the tier list. As you know, you get to place yourself. Where are you putting yourself in the tier list today?
Yeah, so with fantasy football, I always say, like, if you can just get into the playoffs and get hot, you kind of have a puncher's chance. Honestly, the team I'm most scared of is yours.
Interesting.
Yeah, your team is like insane, dude.
I've got receivers insane. And then Gibbs, and then that's it. I need more. I need running.
I mean, but it's like, that is like just an absolutely elite, wide receiver room, and Gibbs is just, again, the cream of the crop.
I love Gibbs.
But I'd confidently put myself in tier 1, because I feel like I'm totally in a window. I kind of view it too, like being able to have a guy like Chase kind of lead the pack, and he's so young. To me, he's kind of the equivalent of like how like a team like Kansas City can have like Mahomes, and you kind of can just make it work around him. So I think, I feel like he's just a guy. I mean, he's 26, so that, that's hopefully another, 4 or 5 years where he's, at peak level.
Oh yeah.
Only thing that scares me is like where Joe Burrow's head's at,
That's
because
true.
the freaking Bengals are just cheap. So that could change everything, if, rumors are like Rams are looking at Burrow as the Stafford
Oh man,
placement.
I hope
So
that does not happen.
I hope so as well.
I don't want the
So
Rams to be good anymore.
so I need the Bengals to have a good year and make the playoffs and cement that partnership.
Yeah, they need to make the playoffs soon.
Yeah.
I've liked what they've done so far this offseason. So we'll see. Maybe they push the chips in here, but we'll see. They made some good signings on defense. I think they're going to go defense heavy in the draft. Maybe grab another offensive lineman because they need help there also. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, definitely like your team, and I think that's a perfect tier placement for you.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on what the Ravens did?
Oh
With
man.
Crosby, and what would your reaction be if that kind of thing happened in the league, where a team
Oh.
kind of like tried to renege? Yeah, as commissioner.
I was thinking about that actually. That's like that couldn't happen. I mean, we don't have a veto system.
Yes.
But man,
Mhm.
that would be ground. That'd be tough. That'd be tough if that happened in our league. I don't think it would fly.
Yeah. Wasn't there a trade where someone sent the trade, but then like they didn't think the guy would take it seriously, and he tried to like reverse it or something? It was
So
Trevor got. I think Trevor was involved. And
yeah. This
maybe
was
yeah.
this was the big drama last year. Joe.
Yes,
I don't know if
okay,
you've ever
yeah.
received any offers from Joe, but sometimes they can be convoluted. There's a lot going on in Joe trades, and he sent this just
The
stupid.
visual I have
trade.
in my mind is that like he snorts a line, is like just shoots out a bunch of trade offers. They're just super convoluted.
I don't know.
I think didn't he once offer like
accurate.
a 12-team trade or something like that?
Yeah,
I feel like that was something that was just insane.
I think he just loves the rush. He loves the rush of getting a
Yeah.
deal done. But this was the trade. I don't know what the hell he was thinking.
Man,
I think he just looked at what he was getting and said fuck it, and then didn't look that Trev was getting 3 firsts. And
the funny thing is that I was involved in that still. That's the funny thing. Like it's funny when you trade your picks; it's kind of just out there.
Yeah,
You never know what will happen to it. Yeah.
Yeah, he claimed that. Well, he didn't claim. He said he sent it is the problem. He sent the offer. It sat for like a day, and the precedent we have for veto now is if the trade is accepted, you have to immediately call veto and say it was an accident. Joe didn't technically do that, and it just would have been too much of a hassle, honestly. So yeah, if something like that happens in our league, we'll see. I don't know that person will. I don't know. I just don't think. I just hope it doesn't happen because that's a headache I don't want to have to deal with. But yeah, that was crazy, man. That was bad. That was scummy from the Ravens.
Yeah.
All right. Any last things you have to add? Anything else you want to discuss?
Man, one, I just think this is really, really cool to do. It's really cool just having insight. I really respect you as a football mind, fantasy football mind.
I don't know if you should.
You built an amazing team.
I don't know. I haven't won anything yet. I'm all
yeah,
talk.
but it's like it's the I just respect the guys that are that try to win every year. And like it's not just like tanking, it's just like still just trying to win.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why like again, dude I have like so much fucking respect for is Trevor. Because like I feel like he's kind of gotten in terms of like the luck of the draw. Like I think he's like for like all time points for, he's probably like second, I think, to me.
Yes, yeah.
But he's got like by far like the most points against.
Yes, he does.
So that's also why I was hoping he would win it because he just deserved it.
Yes. Yeah, he had a rough regular season, but like you said, when the playoffs start, it doesn't matter. If your team's good, you got a chance. So, yeah, I'm happy you listen. I'm happy we have a fan base here. It's fun. I don't know. I'm in a different league, and one of the guys in that league does it. He only does one every season, like every off season, he'll do it. And so I thought it was cool. So I'm excited.
And your recaps are always hilarious too. Those kind of long write-ups that you would do.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those. Are fun. Yeah, I might have to do that
Yeah.
too. I don't know. I have a lot of free time right now. In the future, I won't have as much free time. But yeah. All right. Well, if that's it, this was fun. Enjoyed having you on. I'm sure the league will be happy to hear your insight because you are two-time champion of the dynasty. I don't know how many free drafts you won, but yeah, you are a formidable opponent for sure in the league.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks for you guys inviting me into
Of
the
course,
league,
yeah.
and yeah, hope we all have a fun season. I'm just excited to see where this goes too. Um,
4 years in,
like
going strong.
yeah, yeah. Like eventually, do like our kids take over our teams, and So I don't know. I just think that's a funny thing too to think about.
I'm hoping eventually, like in like 10 years, they make their own league. And then we'll have like a promotion relegation thing. Like the winner of that league gets to
Oh,
move up
that'd
to
be
our
cool.
league.
That'd
That'd be
be
crazy.
cool. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
We'll see. That we got time. We got time for that.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of time.
All right, brother. It was fun. I will talk to you later. Thanks for coming on.
All right, man. All right. Have a good one.
All right, you too. See ya.
Bye.
All right, that is it for today. Good to have Archie on. Get a chat with him. Yeah, that was good. A lot of insight. Didn't want to give us too much, but we got something. We got something. Thank you again, Archie. Tomorrow we got Yurden. Yurden's in the chat tonight. Yurden, you ready for tomorrow? Are you ready for this? He's ready. Same time, so like 8:30 Mountain, 10:30 Eastern. All right, all right. I will talk to y'all later. Yurden, talk to you tomorrow. Yeah, we'll have a good one. See ya.